We are back for the week 3 version of the podcast. Mark is out again with work. Brandon MIA, but here with Greg and a special guest, Andy, now on the pod. So, we're going to start with Greg's normal awards and his shits.
All right. So week 2, here is what we got. MVP for week 2. We'll skip that. No, it's Brian. Congrats, 242.04 points.
Goat.
Yeah, your team performed very nicely.
I'd like to thank myself for not trading for David Montgomery.
All right, way to be the dead horse as usual. The bum of the week is Fred, the one that was supposed to beat me. He got 126.6 points. Yeah, so I think he's gonna be all right though. I do have to agree with Brian's power rankings on that remark that I think Fred will be all right.
They got to feed Brees.
Then the nail biter. What's that, Andy?
4 carries, not enough for Brees.
No.
So the nail biter of the week was Brian again.
Oh, Greg, you froze
up.
We
had a close one there. Did I?
Yeah, you froze up.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you're saying something about how great my team was again since I don't have Micah Parsons, but
again, wrong league.
Same shitty GM.
Okay. How many championships you got? Yeah, the same as I do. Anyways, nail biter, Brian over Brandon by 5.42 points. Brian's amazing team beat the bum team by 5 points. So it's kind of like, is he really amazing?
That bum scored more than you? That bum scored more than you?
This week. Not
because
last
he
week.
Didn't have David Montgomery or Michael Parsons.
I don't have him either on this team. Well, I have Montgomery, but
that's probably why you're doing better in this league.
Oh, okay. You're so great. Where's all your trophies?
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I don't see him.
Greatest of all.
Expert. He's an expert. Brian's an expert. He's an expert. The blowout game of the week. Marcus of Steubenville, Ohio over Jimmer by 57.12 points. And that is the awards for 2.
Rice Cake Jimmer. Plain Jane is here. Put no effort in. All right, so we're going to go to the quick recap from our picks last week. All right, so we'll go through mine. The ones I got right were myself, Andy, Jacob. So I'd like to thank us 3 for being great. Greg got myself, Andy, Jacob, and Greg right. Mark got himself, Nick, Jacob, and Greg right. So last week I had 3 more points. Greg got 4, Mark got 4. So the grand total is Mark's in the lead with 8, Greg with 7, myself with 5, and Brandon didn't put in picks last week, so he still remains at, I guess, 5 points since he grabbed all goose eggs through the board because he did not submit picks. Probably because he knew he was going to lose to me. So I would have been scared to pick as well if I were him. Other than that, couple injuries last week. Nick Chubb going down, Saquon going down. You know, those are the big 2 I can think of. I don't know if I'm missing any that are out. Good old breaking news, Cam Akers just got traded, so there's that.
Cam Akers to the Vikings.
To the Kings, yeah. So that'd be big move there. Antoine made an insane bullshit trade that I think we're about to talk about. I don't know if everyone's seen that. Acquired Jerome Ford, gave up J.K. All-Day Dobbins, and a second-round pick.
And a second. Ford.
So basically first-round quality and second round, or if you want to even look at it, 2 seconds at worst.
I'd say 2 seconds.
Yeah, 2 seconds at worst for an unknown commodity that has maybe he had one breakout run that like 70-yarder or something like that. To me, he's a boomer bust kind of guy. You know,
Well, I think the interesting thing is that the
Yep.
Browns signed Kareem Hunt as well.
Yeah, they picked up
So-
Hunt.
Yeah.
So, like, it shows no confidence in the guy, in my opinion. I don't know. You got anything on it, Andy?
I mean, that's a tough break for what was that Jacobs team that had Chubb?
Yeah.
That's a tough break. That's the only player he really had, so kind of got to hang the season up for Jacob. I would say might be tank time. You know, cut Chubb. That was a wild move. You know,
Oh wow.
threw us a curveball there, dropped him. Had to be like, whoa, let's
Yeah. We had a little
reverse
side.
that.
We had a little side conversation with him, added him back on his team. He wanted to make sure he realized
Okay.
there's. Yeah.
Might have forgot it was Dynasty there for a minute.
Makes sense.
The Jerome Ford trade, I think, is trash. Trash trade. Basically gave up 2 seconds for a running back. There's going to be a split time running back at this point. I mean, you pay the money to Deshaun. You could only assume that this is going to be a pass heavy Browns offense now without Chubb. I mean, if not, what are you paying Watson all this money for in guarantees? Some people say he's going to rape the opposing defenses now. I don't know. That's just what they're saying. These are what my sources are saying. But trash trade overall.
Yeah, I agree. Greg, how do you want to defend your boy Antoine?
The only thing I want to say first and foremost is at least he represents UC. So, but other than that, I don't think it's a good trade either. I think he gave up.
You know
too
these
much.
UC boys, they're out here fighting mountain lions or whatever. You know, they said in the chat.
Yeah, I don't know what that was, but
Mountain Lions don't give you dynasty points.
yeah, but I think he gave up too much for him.
Yeah.
Dobbins is hurt all the time, which is annoying, but when he's not hurt, he's really good. And I feel like, and maybe I'm crazy too, but I feel like just a second round pick maybe would have been all right. Maybe.
To me, it's still too high, but it's definitely better than a second and JK. Maybe
Yeah,
if it's a second, if you know you're about to win a chip, so it's going to be a later second. But Antoine does not have the team built to win a chip, so he was kind of, to me, making a win now move with because it's a 1 season rental, really. Especially, I mean, I know Chubb's looked bad, but if he happens to come back, and even if he doesn't, do the Browns go after maybe Taylor or another running back somewhere along the lines on top of Hunt that they picked up? You know, like, I don't know that they're satisfied with what they have. So if they're really in contention, if it starts going their way, you know, because they built their team to win now. So I can't imagine, you know, Jerome Ford's not the guy I don't think is going to lead them to the Super Bowl. And it's definitely not going to lead Antoine to a dynasty chip this year. He's more than one piece away, if I remember correctly here. Let me see. Yeah, he's 0-2. I mean, he has Lamar.
Definitely more than one piece away.
Yeah. Like I said, his receivers are right. Tyreek and Devontae. Mike Williams. But, like, yeah, he just doesn't have the depth. You don't have the horses. So, yeah, I don't think Antoine knows. I mean, Antoine isn't even using his taxi spot, so I don't think he knows what that even is yet. So,
not even using his taxi spot.
I use every spot available. I pick up people that are on IR just to put them in my IR slot. Like, I don't give a shit.
Oh, you never know either.
I'd rather have potential on my team than out on the waiver wire in one way or another.
Well, that kind of goes into back in the Chubb for a moment. Even if it doesn't cause that could be trade material. You know,
You broke up a little bit, but I heard something about trading.
Yeah, you could use Nick Chubb as trade in the future.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of talked to Jacob on the side. And I was like, hey, at least maybe try to trade him before you just cut ties.
Right.
It's even a 3rd, 4th round pick or something for him is better than 0.
Nothing. Yeah.
You know, I try to trade every one of my players before I cut them. It doesn't always work, but you know, I put them out there. Yeah, you got to put them out there when you can. Let's see who we got. coming up. Oh, Andy plays him this week too, so that's probably going to be a railroading.
That's a blowout. That's a blowout. You can mark that down.
So yeah, that's a wreck.
Projected to lose right now. Projected to lose right now, and he doesn't have an RB.
Yeah, I don't know how.
RB1 projected to lose.
I don't know how that is. I do not know
Yeah, I'm
how that is.
surprised.
But I guess we'll get into our picks and we can kind of tap on that since we're kind of rolling that way.
Okay.
See, week 3. So we'll start with hold on, let me get my pen ready for I can write down your picks. So game
Okay.
1, week 3. Where are we at? Cincinnati Bay versus Kingdom Minded Poppy, aka Antoine. I picked myself, obviously. Like I'm gonna pick myself for confidence, but I'm 2-0. I didn't make a garbage ass trade. And somehow I'm winning with Jamar Chase and Jahmyr Gibbs not really doing a hell of a lot for me. So I think I'm still pointing upward. Still pointing upward right now. I have confidence in myself. Because once Jamar gets rolling and Jahmyr gets rolling, I'm going to be that much better. Greg, who do you have in this one?
Hi. No,
That'd be bold.
I wanted to also go with Brian. I do like Antoine's wide receivers a lot, but like you just kind of said, I think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to probably start stepping up this week, really, with the injury of Montgomery. As a Bengals fan, I'm hoping Chase turns it around starting this week. I do like St. Brown a lot. Sorry, Andy, but I know he's the fourth guy.
Fuck the Lions.
And Addison, he's been producing the first 2 weeks.
Fuck the Vikings.
Hey, I don't care. I'm not a Vikings fan.
But with that said, Mark also picked myself. So Mark's trying to, get back on my good graces. Andy, you want to throw a celeb pick in for these?
I have to say, Isaiah Ford probably makes this a close matchup. Pencil Ford in for probably a solid 25 this week. Who do they got? Who do they got on the matchup? Cleveland. Doesn't matter. Pencil Ford in for 25. Doesn't matter what the matchup is. But I think Brian overall, too many dogs on this team. I can't fucking contain Jamar forever. Cincy Bays is probably gonna pull this one out, but it's gonna be a close one because Ford is gonna he's gonna take that team to where it needs to be.
Drop a 50 burger. All right, next game we got was M-Law 2303 versus GTP8. I love the original names there. I went with Mark in this one. Due to his team starting to get rolling, he's got them Ohio State boys. It's just a matter of time till Greg starts shitting himself and going all the way down to the bottom. So, Greg, I'm assuming you probably picked Mark as well.
No, I picked myself.
Bad move.
I don't have these crazy opinions. And the last time you did this crap, I won the championship. So thank you for the motivation. I'll pick myself. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm confident I'm gonna win again in the game that Brian says I'm gonna lose.
And then Mark obviously picked himself because he is jumping off the SEC bandwagon and on the Big Ten bandwagon. Actually, he wanted me to throw out that he says he thinks it'll be a close one, but that's just him being a vagina. Celeb pick, who do you got there?
I got to go with Greg in this one. Putting the points on the board. Unfortunately, I got to say it. Got to give him the respect that he's earned. Number one point scoring this year so far in the league. So I think Greg might keep that streak rolling until he proves us otherwise. I'm gonna have to go with Greg.
Thanks, buddy.
All right.
I like Andy.
Bring him on.
You're putting up the results. You got the results.
Thank you, bud.
Speaking of Andy, next game is 2 Infinity and Bajan versus Boondocks 87. So Andy v. Jacob. I went with Andy in this one. Mainly, a lot. Andy's on fire. He's the number 1 overall, ranked in the nation at the moment. And Chubb, obviously, that hurts. So, who you got there, Greg?
Well, I really like Patrick Mahomes in this matchup, but I like Andy's team way better. I wanted Andy on this one. He's stacked. The Chubb thing, I mean, looking at it now, I hope he changes that. It's currently in the starting lineup. But Andy, I said I like Mahomes better, but rest I like Bijan a lot. I like Josh Jacobs, especially they got that deal settled with out in Las Vegas. Olave is a monster. I saw that catch he had Monday Night Football. And I do have a concern with Elijah Moore because I'm not sold on Deshaun Watson, but that won't be a problem for you, Andy. You're still going to win this one. And I think, and I'll put it out there, you're going to win. You'll get blowout game of the week.
Blowout. He's going to blow the Chubb. So
Yep,
Mark picked Andy as well. Didn't give me a reason, but he picked him. I'm sure probably because the love for Olave in the Big Ten is the only thing I can assume. Mark has turned his back on the
Ohio
SEC.
State guys.
The Ohio State. Andy, would you like to throw your name in there? Probably.
Come on now. We know who's going to win this one. Looking at the schedule, honestly, I don't even know if I see anybody that's going to give me any real challenges till late in the season. But yeah, this is going to be an easy win. I don't need to beat up on Jacob too much. He already lost Chubb, so
Yeah,
just let it be at that. That's enough loss for him in 1 week.
very, very true. Next game we got up is Team Shipwrecked 513 versus B Walt. I picked Rice Cakes Jimmer in this one to pull off the kind of upset, kind of not. But I think B Walt's team stepped up to try to beat the best, which was me last week. So I think he kind of overexerted his team, and this week he's going to fall off, kind of like Tua did from week 1 to week 2. Had a hell of a game, then went back to SEC shit. So Brandon's just going to go back to SEC shit as well. Look at it. So I'm going to pick old Rice Cakes in this one. Greg?
I'm going to go with B Walt.
Wow.
Shiesty mode. I think Tua's playing good football right now.
Not week 2, he wasn't.
Good enough, I guess.
The Danny Dimes.
But Jalen's obviously a beast. Let's see. Looking at this, I do like CeeDee Lamb as much as it pains me. The Cowboys look like one of the most dangerous teams in the league this early in the season.
America.
I like CeeDee Lamb. And I know, what do you call him? Rice Cake?
Rice Cake Jimmer.
He has Waddle, which is also nice, but it's going to cancel out with Tua. So I'm going to give this game to Brandon.
All right. Mark also went beat Walt in this one. No real reason why. Andy, who do you got?
He doesn't like rice cake.
Probably not.
I also have to say, I think I'm feeling Brandon in this one.
Whoa.
I know he's had a tough go to the season, but you see him putting the points on the board last year. It's hard to hang with the best of us. We know that. But he has the potential to put the points there. And just looking at Jimmer's team, I don't see anybody that really is more than a flex guy to me currently on his roster. So I just don't see where a bunch of flex guys are going to get it done.
So he basically called them generic rice cakes at that. Organic rice. So the next game we have on the roster here is Team TPJN, John, versus Steel City Football. Begrudgingly, I picked M. Yet again. You got to respect this matchup. What's John going to do? Burrow might not play, and that's the only player he even has. And he hasn't been playing that well yet thus far this season anyway. So I think it's pretty much going to be a railroading. This will be my blowout. If you want to pick a blowout, I think M.'s going to just railroad him. Very similar to how he railroaded Antoine in that trade. Just outright schemed him, bamboozled him, hustled him. Highway robbery. He's going to double rob John Antoine. All right, Greg, who you got?
I also went against Blood. I'm going with Marcus in this one. Much as a fan, I want Burrow to kill it, but I just don't feel confident that if he's going to play up to that level, which is concerning, but that's as a fan and not fantasy. Other than that, I'm just not a big fan of James Conner for fantasy this year. Um, but I do think, and I know Anthony Richardson, he might not play either, so that might cancel the quarterback situation out. I haven't looked at their backups, but
He's got
McCaffrey,
Pickett.
was that
MDOT has Pickett.
Pickett? Ugh.
Yeah.
Anyways, McCaffrey against the Giants defense. Um, I mean, like I said, I like Marcus's team in this regard. I think John could potentially make it a game. It just depends on if his guys, I don't know, like if Tony catches a ball and stuff. But I'm gonna go with Marcus.
And M Law also picked M Dot in this one. So 3-way there. And Andy, who you got?
Yep, I'm gonna keep it a clean sweep here, and we're gonna go M dot again. Obviously, in the TP household, there was only enough fantasy knowledge to go around for one. Because yeah, he just doesn't. Greg, your brother doesn't have it got it going on, man. His team's old. I don't really see where they're going to progress. And even for an old team that should have been a win now team, they're not really performing as a win now team. So I just think M Dot's going to keep it rolling and pick up this third one.
Yeah. Next game we have is Team Freddie W1 v Pocket Pussy Aces. I went with Fred with the bounce back. I think he just lost on a fluke. I mean, feed Brees. For the love of God, feed Brees. Greg?
Well, for the Indiana Bowl this week, I am going with the beard also, Fred's beard.
The original beard.
The original beard. I like Kevin's quarterback better. Like I said earlier, I'm not Deshaun Watson's not it. But so he has Pollard and Brees Hall. I like Brees Hall. And also remember Brees Hall, they played against a tough Cowboys defense last week. Whereas this week he is going up against New England, which they're usually strong defensively, but we'll see what happens this week with that. Yeah, just looking at the lineup though, I mean, Kevin currently has Barkley in the starting lineup, and he's obviously out. I think that'll obviously change, but you can't get. I mean, I just don't. I'm not confident. Fred
Kevin doesn't have a backup for Barkley though. He hasn't made any moves.
Yeah, so definitely Fred.
Yeah. He's got nothing going on. Mark picked Fred as well. I'm assuming for the same reasons because Kevin's just not making any moves at all. Not trying to. I haven't seen that he posed any trades anywhere. Or he really even makes some waiver claims. Celeb pick, Andy. What you got?
Got to go with Fred here. Kelsey obviously still doesn't seem like he's 100%. No Saquon. I mean, his wide receiver one's not that good, but he still hasn't had him all season in Christian Watson. Still don't know if he's going to have him. Got to go with Fred this week.
All right, now we got our game of the week. Game of the week. It is Hawaii Shark Bears, Nick, Peach V, Sunshine, Matt Law, Matthew, Lawrence. I went with Matt, not because I think he's good, but I think Nick is just so garbage at Dynasty or anything related to fantasy or probably football for that matter. So I'm going to go with Matt. I think it's going to be a dumpster fire of a game, though. It's a game of the week, probably just because they both have good records, but it's just going to be a low scoring, kind of a weather game, if you will, toilet bowl. Greg, who you got?
I'm going with the Peach V in this one, and I have two reasons why. Justin Jefferson, T. Higgins. If T. Higgins can continue what he did last week, and then Justin Jefferson is a monster. And then I'll throw him in if Dak keeps doing what he's doing.
Now, is Nick smart enough to start the proper team? I feel like he might be a dummy and go and bench Jefferson.
Is this a bonus pick 'em here?
Bonus pick. Is Nick smart enough?
Is
Question mark.
Nick smart enough to?
Which we were gonna have Nick on the show, but he backed
Well,
out. He claimed it was something to do with his kids' football practice, but I feel like he was just scared to debate Andy. I think he was running with a tail between his legs. So Nick, 0 for 1 on that in the debate room. With that said, Mark, sticking with his brotherly love, you may as well call him Philadelphia. He picked Matt. And celeb pick, who you got for the tiebreaker here? Or?
Oh man, this is a tough one. This is a tough one. Let me tell you. Two of the worst teams in the league, in my opinion. And it's not close. Uh, but I think I got to give it to Matt Law. Unfortunately, hate to do it. Another person that makes bad trades gave B-Rob away for peanuts.
Free.
Fourth round pick and Devin Duvernay, essentially free.
Return.
So Matt Law, if you're watching and want to give any other players away for free, you know where to find me. And I am going to take you in this game, so more reason for you to trade me one of your players, for the free.
For the free. For the free. All right. So that's our picks, our game of the week. Anything else we really want to talk on this week? Anybody? Any ideas? Anything you want to throw out there while we're on here?
It's just it's been a weird season already, only 2 weeks in. A lot of big injuries across the league, and just hope that that's not the trend.
True. Yeah, I mean, for me, there's a lot of teams, and Andy and I were talking about this. I think there's a lot of teams that just need to accept their fate, that this ain't their year. I know it's early in the season, it's hard to do that, but in Dynasty, you got to come up with you're going to win now, build for later. The worst thing, in my opinion, you can be as a middling team.
Worst thing.
You know, I was that in a league in Andy's Dynasty. I was the first team out before. I was like, well, I've got the worst possible basically pick I could have because I didn't make the damn playoffs. And I, have a low pick. So it's hard. It's rough when you get that from experience. So you kind of want to, I don't say tank because it's, you want to try to win. But you can sell parts. You can find ways to, manufacture things, and you just got to be mindful of what age your players are getting at, and how quickly you think you can actually compete or not. And that's just my 2 cents on that. How do you guys feel about that? Are you agreement or disagree?
No, I agree. The worst thing to do, like you said, is be one of the middle teams, missing the playoffs, but you got the 7th, 8th pick in the draft. You're not really getting one of them superstars at the top. You're not really making your team that much better for the following season. Kind of get you stuck in this trend of being in that same spot. And yeah, I say tank away. Marvin Harrison looks nice. For every game that he catches 100 yards and a touchdown, I would lose a game in Dynasty if I was like half of you guys. Every time he caught a touchdown, that's put somebody on your bench for somebody that's worse. But yeah.
Well, yeah, the only one announcement I did have to make is Matthew Lawrence was the first in the history to get a demerit for starting a player that was not playing. So, and then 3 demerits will get you a desadulation. And desadulation means basically the 3 of us, because we are actually the trio of commission, the league officials, we will have to discuss your future with the league. It might not be as cruel as you're immediately cut, but there could be things that happen, i.e. the league office takes over starting your lineup, draft picks maybe get, bust it down a little bit, things we've discussed. But you can't just go not starting someone that's playing. And there's a few of you that are looking at that this week, so let's just not do that. We want to keep the league competitive. We want everyone to at least start someone that's playing at the minimum. Like you said, there's a graceful way to tank, a graceful way to do it. So just try to find someone that's starting somewhere, somehow. But that's all I got. Greg, you got anything?
Not really. I mean, trying to with a lot of us.
Oh,
What?
what? We
What?
lost you. I lost you there for a second.
Oh, I heard. Oh.
But
Uh,
all right, well,
yeah.
I guess we'll stop the recording and we can do a wrap up session after, and we'll see you next week.